Hi, I'm Harry Wilmington, and today I'm going to be answering a dating question from a guy that wants to know how to get a woman back to his place. He hasn't ever had his own place before. It's his first time, and he wants to know what the etiquette is for inviting a woman back to your place. And the question goes a little something like this. For the first time in my life, I have my own place with no roommates. What's the etiquette for inviting someone over? I'm a guy who lives 20 to 40 minutes away from the center of a major metropolitan center in NYC. As a result, most dates involve meeting in a central neighborhood that's 20 to 40 minutes away from both my and my date's home, usually. What's the etiquette for inviting someone over? I feel like the easiest situations are when you're on an outing or date near your place. Then it's quite organic to suggest heading back to your place for drinks or whatever. Outside of that, what should I do? When is it too forward? He says, I'm dating with the intent for a serious relationship. And this is probably silly, but are there any tips or nuggets of advice you'd give for making a space more inviting to someone coming over, aside from cleaning it, of course? So I thought about this question because at every young man's point in life, they're going to ideally have their own place and be out on their own, at which point they now have their own castle to invite women back to. And it can be very intimidating early on if you haven't been in the practice of doing that for so long to be like, I have this space, but like, is it okay to invite women over? Are they gonna feel some kind of way about that? Like, I just want them for sex. What if I'm looking for a relationship versus just trying to hook up? And then how do you get comfortable doing that kind of thing? So I put together a few tips that can be helpful that I have found to be very helpful in my dating life as well, all right? So here's a few things that you can do in order to try to get a woman back to your place. And by the way, I want to preface this by saying this, is that you always want to get consent, and also understand that most women, if you've gone on a couple good dates with them, they're already kind of expecting the guy, i.e. you, to take lead on doing things that are going to make her agree to go back to your place, all right? So with that said, here are my tips. First one, very important, read the room. Meaning, when you go on a date and you're talking to a woman, you're having a good time with her, you should be able to start feeling out the vibe of whether or not you vibed well enough with this woman to warrant just inviting her back to your place. I remember one time I went on a first date with a woman that I met online, and I went to take her to a restaurant, and the first two restaurants that I tried to take her to were closed. So they were busy. They were very, very busy and packed, and we couldn't get a seat. So the third place we went there. But by that time, we had spent an hour together just laughing and talking it up and me getting to know her, her getting to know me. We got to that third place, had a great dinner, sat down, talked, was jovial, had a good time. And in the midst of that date, we ended up kissing. So I already set the vibe and mood of like, we're getting along great, we're having a good time. When I took her back to her place, she just kind of sat in the car like, I don't want this night to end. At which point, I took that as a signal to say, hey, if you want to come back to my place to watch some movies or whatever, we don't have to necessarily do anything, but if you want to come watch movies or, hang out for a little bit more, we can do that. And then that's what we did. And then she went back to my place, and I don't even think we tried to turn a movie on, to be honest with you. But the point is, but that was a way to do that. Is I was able to read the situation and say, okay, it seems like she's throwing out things that indicate that she'd be cool coming back to my place, at which point you have to know what those signals are and then make the move accordingly. Because even a woman that's throwing out signals, she's still going to be throwing out ones that are kind of passive and hinty. But she wants you as the guy to take charge and say, let's do this thing. Okay? So that's the first way, is read the room. Second tip is I err on the side of trying to talk about things that are in your apartment that are very cool. So that way later on in the evening, she can say some stuff like, hey, I want to come check out that thing you talked about in your apartment that's really awesome to look at. Can we go take a quick look at it? Now, why do you put something out there like this? Well, the reason is because there are plenty of women out there who want to get into relationships that, in the same token, are more than willing to go back to your place on a first or second date, but a lot of times they're looking for an excuse. And so it's your job as the guy to find excuses to throw out there that she can grab onto as a reason to come to your place. And I found this one out by accident. I used to have a roommate that he had all this designer stuff in his room. He had these really interesting rugs from Africa and these other designs from various parts of the world. And so he would tell girls I got this awesome rug in my place that I got from this country, whatever. And by the end of the night, they'd be like, hey, can I come to your place and check out that thing that you got on your wall? Because he gave them an excuse they could grab onto versus just, women don't want to feel like they honestly, they don't want to be judged. And so they don't want to be the girls who can be like, hey, so I had a good time with you tonight. Can I come to your place? That's why they need to have an excuse built in for them to feel good about the suggestion that they're making that's going to allow you to then invite them over to your place. And that's a way to do that, is to have something cool, talk about something cool that's in your apartment that she just can't help but see, that you have to absolutely show her by the end of the day. Third thing you can do, and I found this out during my years when I did not have a car, okay? But you can catch an Uber ride to your date. Because let's say you live 20 to 40 minutes away from the date spot that you've chosen, and she's not that close by also, okay? What I found by accident is that, I used to have to catch buses to get to dates because I didn't have a car and Uber wasn't a thing quite yet. So I would catch a bus to wherever it was, and usually most of these places that I took girls out to were like 20, 30 minutes away. And I'd go on the date, I'd show the girl a really great time, have a great conversation. Around the 90-minute mark, I'd be like, oh, I gotta go catch that bus. And most of the women that I took out like that, they'd be like, hey, they usually had cars, and they'd be like, hey, well, I don't mind driving you back to your place if you want. What am I gonna say, no to that? So now that we have Ubers and Lyfts, it's the same thing. You could say like something like, your car needs to be checked or your engine light came on and you didn't want to risk driving your car, so you decided to catch an Uber and just catch an Uber to the date. Have a really, really great time. If you show her a good time, and more importantly, you're not bringing up sex and stuff like that during the date, but you show her the best time she can possibly have. You show her how you're different from the other guys that she's gone out with. At the end of that date, you say, oh, well, this is great, but you know what? I gotta leave because I gotta catch an Uber, and I don't know when an Uber's gonna come by or how soon it's gonna get to me, so I gotta start ordering it now. But I had a great time with you, but I gotta order my Uber. Chances are, if you showed her a great time, she'll probably say something like, hey, well, how far away is your place? I can just drive you back. It's no big deal. Oh, it's on my way. Anyway, they'll make some excuses to why they can drive you. But the point is, now you're ever coming back to your place and you get her back. Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Oh, by the way, I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that, but I don't know if you need to go to the bathroom before you get back on the road, or if you want to maybe get a quick drink of water or something like that. It doesn't hurt to throw it out there. But the point is, her driving you back to your place allows that to happen. All right. Fourth thing, plan a fun at-home cooking date. This is usually for I'd say save this for the second or third date, but assuming that first date went well, you're able to build trust and all this other stuff, then you can start suggesting home dates that are awesome. For example, the cooking date. Cooking dates work great because you can make a homemade pizza or try up some recipe that you guys both want to try out, but you need a kitchen to do that. So it's either your place or her place. And again, you can say, hey, you know what? No funny business on the table. There's no expectation for anything physical to happen, but I just, we talked about making these meals on the previous date. So on that first date, mention that you like to cook and that you like to try out new recipes and stuff like that. So you've already prepped her for that idea. But anyway, say, so we just need a place to cook. So you can come over. Hey, no funny business. No expectations. If things go that way, great. But I just want to spend time with you, and I want to really cook these meals because I want to try it out with you. Also, paint nights. Hey, I painted that picture back there. And you can do at-home paint nights where you get an easel and some paint. It costs $50 total for everything that you're going to put together. Find a video on YouTube of somebody that's teaching people how to paint pictures, and you can do a paint night at your house. Most women have probably not had a paint night date, but they're absolutely fun. And every woman I've ever suggested it to, the results always been, oh, that sounds so fun. I'd love to do that. The activity itself will supersede any protections they have in their head about, but I'm going over a guy's house and he's gonna want me to sleep with him, because you're suggesting an activity that has nothing to do with the bedroom. But in the course of that, you're serving wine, maybe there's a meal there, you're painting together, you're laughing, you're having fun, and then that could inadvertently lead to bedroom fun, all right? And the fifth thing is to focus on giving her the best time and building trust, not on getting her back to your place. The irony of most sexual situations is that you're going to most likely succeed if you're not the one pushing the agenda. And I found this to be true time after time. I was a virgin until I was 23. So by default, I found this out because I was actually not trying to have sex before I got married at one point. And so when I would go on dates with women, after the second date, I noticed they'd be pushing for me to do stuff. They would take me back to their place. They would be suggesting sexually suggestive things that they wanted to do, but I was playing dumb. I really wasn't playing, but I wasn't giving into that. But I found out in the process of that, hey, if I'm not pushing it, then they're gonna be grateful, but then also be like, but wait, but am I sexually desirable to this guy? Now I gotta try some stuff. So all I've done in my entire dating life is focused on showing the woman a really, really good time and trying to build and establish trust, or at least enough trust for her to feel like if we get alone, I'm not going to harm her in any kind of way, okay? But by doing that, I find that more often than not, women are suggesting when we do stuff, women are trying to, make excuses to come back to my place or trying to suggest dates that are at-home dates. And again, everything on the list you can still technically do, but I find if you're just focusing on the fun and trust part of things, they will typically end up bringing the idea of sexuality to the dating relationship, okay? So those are the 5 tips. Now, as for what you need to do with your actual space, because you don't know at some point when the sex is going to happen, but you always want to be prepared, all right? And I'm going to tell you right now, when I went through this guy's question on Reddit, there were a bunch of women that commented down below that emphatically said most men are dirty, they're not clean, they don't know what they're doing, their places smell, all this other stuff, okay? So I'm gonna give you some tips and pointers for how to set up your place so that way you have the castle that you need in order to succeed, all right? So first thing, very important, get air fresheners. I don't know if you're aware, guy, you probably smell horrible. Most of us cannot really detect how bad our own body odors actually are, but I guarantee you, if you walk into your place, you probably can't smell it, but any woman that walks into your place, if you've ever been musty, if you've come home from the gym dirty before, if you've had a couple of days where you didn't take a bath, if you've self-pleasured yourself and that aroma's around your house, then what's going to happen is your place probably has a faint smell to it. So get some air fresheners that go off every 15 to 20 minutes, just nice little spritz in the air, and it'll keep your place smelling fresh. If your place smells fresh, women will not be disgusted, and women like fresh smelling places because it makes them feel comfortable and it allows them to be less anxious about the idea of hooking up with you because you're clean. So that's one thing. Second thing, have some nice artwork. Like, you ain't got to decorate your entire place, but like I said, I got this painting that I painted at some point. I got like 3 other paintings that I've painted that are different styles and stuff like that, but they do make for talk pieces. So it allows women to see like, oh, I'm artistic, or very nothing else. I'm somewhat creative, or I have an interest that goes beyond just myself. And it ain't got to be things you paint. It can be like artwork that you buy at Target, or just something that's gonna, have a little story to it. But keep those things just so a woman gets an idea that you have some level of sophistication and creativity about you. Third thing, always have some kind of drink ready to go. Bottle of wine, wine coolers, margarita mix, just something for you guys to sip on. Champagne's really good because you can mix it with orange juice and make mimosas, and women love mimosas. So definitely keep a bottle of wine, like a bottle of white wine and a bottle of red wine as well at your place. Maybe keep a little thing of alcohol, just something that is going to allow a woman to come into that space. And then, when women drink, part of it's because they want to be social, but also part of it's because they kind of want a built-in excuse for them to be able to loosen up and let go. If nothing else, they can say, oh, we had a little bit of wine and champagne, and I'm just feeling so calm and loose about everything, and I just decided, this guy's great. And those kind of drinks can actually, cause women to want to do stuff physically more so than if it's not there. Not to say that you should lean on alcohol as a crutch, because I don't really drink a whole lot these days, but I still have drinks at the ready for women that come over that want to possibly partake, because they might need that as an excuse to be able to then open themselves up to the possibility of doing physical things with you, all right? So always have some kind of alcoholic drink ready, all right? Fourth thing, dust your place. Again, I can't stress enough, most men do not dust. We just don't. We're just kind of like, it's what's the big deal? It's collecting there. But women will notice. Women will walk around your place, do a little finger thing, and be like, oh, this guy's dirty. He's got dust everywhere. So dust it, get some Lysol, get some kind of towel you can wipe stuff down with, and really dust up your TVs, your wood dressers, do a little thing on your floor. Like, just make sure the place isn't dusty. And number 5, always be prepared for a nightcap. So you might not think that a woman will just randomly come by your place and be ready to hook up with you. I have been in enough situations to know sometimes you're legitimately just inviting a woman friend or a woman over just to hang out to your place and just, watch TV or whatever. And then it starts getting intense. And now you don't have condoms. You don't have a trash can for her to dump tampons in. You got nothing, okay? Your bed's not made. Your place is dusty and rusty. You don't have the right kind of soap. You need to have neutral soap in your bathroom in just in case she decides to stay over and needs to shower in the morning, okay? So be prepared. Always be prepared for the idea that anytime a woman comes over to your place, a hookup could potentially happen, all right? And then speaking of that, here's the bonus tip for you guys, because I saw this a lot in the comments, okay? Please, please, please clean your bathroom. And I don't just mean like keeping your toilet clean, your bathtub clean, and stuff like that. I mean like really, have hand towels. Have hand towels so when women wash their hands in your sink. They're able to actually wipe their wet hands on something to dry them off. So many women complained about that in the comments on Reddit. Like, keep some towels available for them to wash their hands, have clean towels in case they shower over your place. Like I said, have neutral soaps of some kind, so that way if a woman stays over, she can shower and not feel like she has to use your man soap. Make sure you have hand soap on the sink. Like, definitely keep the bathroom clean. The bathroom is an interesting area of your place because inevitably a woman's going to go there, and they oftentimes have more needs in the bathroom than we have. So if you have like spittle on your mirror, if you don't have extra toilet paper because you're going to run out at some point and it's in your closet, but have it in the bathroom because she's not going to want to ask you if you have extra toilet paper. She's going to want to be able to look under the sink and get it in case you happen to run out. Wet naps. Keep the kind of wipes in your bathroom that are wet, so that way she can clean herself, whether it's having to, thoroughly clean her butt and not leave a smell, or whether it's like having to get makeup off her face or whatever. Like, think about those kind of things. Ask women what they'd like to see in a guy's bathroom for when they come over, because that'll really give you a lot of insight into the kind of things you need to have in your bathroom ready to go so you'll have a successful evening. So hopefully this answers this guy's question about how to get women over to your place, and also how to set up your place so that way women find you and your place both an enjoyable experience. Because I'm guessing that you're going to want women over to your place. So you definitely got to know how to approach the right way. And also when they do come over, you want them to be able to enjoy your place enough to want to come back. And if your place is dirty and not set up the right way, you are setting yourself up for major, major disaster. That's all I got. Thanks for watching this video. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.